Cool. I had to get it off of something that it wasn't supposed to be on. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it because I have a lot of things to do today. I missed y'all. I know I haven't been here in the past few weeks, been traveling. So let's get into it. Hope y'all were able to catch some moves in the indices last week. Cool. Aloha, Emmeline. All right, let's start with US 30. US 30 is actually in a good zone to buy. So if you trade US 30, this is an area I want you to pay attention to right here. I'm on the 4 hour. If you take a box from the top of this to the bottom of the other one and just bring it across right here. See what happens right in this area, because US 30 may come up, it may be beyond. We don't know because the market has been closed for this side of trading. But let's see what US 30 does right in this area. Look for some activity around this area. What may happen is, and it doesn't have to, but what may happen is it could come back to retest this area again and then shoot up. So we'll see. But for me, this was my sell zone from last week, and it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. I marked this up for it to come back and retest. That's exactly what it did. Then it shot back up. So what I'll be looking for this week, I'm going to call this a reaction zone. See what happens here? If it breaks, the next target is here. Now watch this. Let's come back to the daily. We had a swing high, come back and retest. So if I go from the previous swing low up to this area, look, it came right around the 618 area. That's what people use the fib for, to find potential retraces and buy zones. Came right back into the 618 area. Now it's swinging up. So potentially, once it reaches this target, our next potential target will be the next fib area. Now what I'll do, remove the fib. Now I'll pull up my pivots. See how pivots are right around that area? So I'll adjust down to pivots. And I like to get a pivot like halfway. So these are potential targets. Now clean the chart up. Drop that down to the 4 hour. I can remove this now. So this area, let me put it back and name it something else. Potential retest target. Put it at the top. There we go. So for me to sell US 30, it would have to break this area right here. Then I would sell it back down to these zones and then back to the next area of noise right in these areas. So again, my sell point would have to be around 34,180. It would have to break below that. Otherwise, I would be buying it all the way back up. Sell, break. There we go. Dropping this in the chat. All right, German 30. Already marked this one up. So I'll just drop it in the chat. I think I marked up Nas too. Yep. And even though this looks different, my thought process is the same on this as it is on US 30. So my sell zone will actually be right here. So if you notice when I do markups, my lines are always at these flats. Look. Always at the flats. Reason I didn't put it at this flat is because I want to account for this candle right here, but around the same area. Trade the same way every time.
Which candle, Doc?
This guy right here. See ya? Because I know if I break this candle, I've already taken care of these lows. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I also trade indices on higher time frames. I don't mess around with 15 minutes. I may use 15 minute for entry, but I'm not using 15 minute as my decisions for take profits and things like that. That's just me. I would prefer not to scalp indices. If you have my markup from last week on SPX or during the week, I had an entry right here. So when I look at entries, I look at where the market bottoms and tops off. I've said it before, if you look at these pairs, I always look for those. That's my indication of when to get in. Now right here, you would have wanted to get in once the market broke the top of this red candle. I got in here just off a gut, but you want to get in once it breaks that red candle, and you can see just from that point alone to where it went, even if you stopped here. Look at that. So I think I marked nope, I marked up gold. Yeah, I marked up silver here. So for silver, it's a little choppy, but I would get in silver once it breaks these pairs. Theoretically, you could get in beyond these two and catch from here to here, but I'll get in once it breaks these twins, these pairs right here. And then the targets are marked. The reason I selected this is because if you look at this trend, again, this is the daily. Look at the trend. I believe it will continue that trend. So you may get some pullback to here. And if it doesn't break, you could buy it back up. Or if you want to trade the zones, trade the breakouts, just wait till it breaks. If you want to sell it, this could be your sell zone here, or you can sell it right here. And then your target will be the entry where it broke out last week. Silver, you don't need a lot of pips to make decent money. Gold is similar. Let me clean this up now. Look at that. This was the buy zone. This was the breakout. It came back, retested. It's literally at the next area. So this is your buy zone. First target. If you notice, look at where my targets and my entries are. They're always at pairs. These are dailies. You can drop down and get a closer bird's eye view if you like. You can start a sale here. Rashonda. Sell zone. Target. This may go over some of you all's head, but I just want you to start thinking about this. Buy zones and sell zones are actually the same thing. The reason I have different places is because it the different areas, these are what I call breakouts. But if price does not break the buy zone, you could sell it down to the previous area. It's a little more advanced, but that's how it works. Buy zones and sell zones are generally the same areas. You're just looking for price to break these certain areas. Let's see if we can get up. Look at this. If price breaks 1872, look at this imbalance it has to make up. So when you hear Gilberto talk about imbalance, and some of the educators talk about imbalance, you're looking at these long candles. See that? This imbalance was made up here. This hasn't been made up yet. So if price breaks here, you can have a nice little ride up.
Hey Doc, this is Reggie. I have a quick question in regards to imbalance.
Hold on, I hear somebody behind you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but you can hear the background too.
Yeah, so when it comes to imbalance, sorry about that. What takes more priority? Would it be order blocks or imbalance as far as if it's something that you want to target? Because where I do see the imbalance, it also looks like what they would call an order block where the blue is. Is that true?
Yeah, I just look at the imbalance. This is why. You have so many experts and educators that focus on these theories. This is the reality. The market moves because you're trading with traders. I want you to think about how the majority of traders are thinking. I'm not talking about the top 5%. I'm talking about the majority of traders. You're making money off of their psychology. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the majority of traders will see a breakout and attempt to catch all of this money. That means they're entering orders to push the market up. You, as a savvy trader, a savvy investor, you have to capitalize both on the psychology and the mistakes. So what do I mean by mistakes? Well, mistakes are people who put in long stop losses. That's a mistake. Again, it's just my personal belief. I'm not saying I'm better than any educator, especially, or any trader. It does not make sense to me to have a 20 pip trade with a 50 pip stop loss. So I'm thinking about all of those things when I'm entering trades. Give you an example. So let's say I was to enter a trade right here. Okay. Fundamental education and educators will tell you that you find the low and then you put the stop loss 10 to 20 pips below that wick. Okay. That's all fine and good. So what I'm looking at, thinking about is, where is everybody putting their stop loss? That's where I start my entry. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. Okay, and I do understand what you're saying about the imbalance part. So I have one more question, if you don't mind, about it. When do you ignore imbalance if something doesn't go back to it? So, for example, where you are now in XAUSD, on May 6th, it looks like there's imbalance right there. It's to the right. It's the closest.
Oh, you said 6th. May. I'm in March. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you made it 6th. That looks like imbalance as well. So my question is, do you always keep your eye on it, and when do you ignore it?
All right, good question. So for me, this area right here, on my personal chart, I'll have a box right here, because I see all of this activity around. Again, I'm looking at these doubles. I'm always keeping my eye on these doubles. I see a retest at this point. As soon as price breaks this level, I'm in there. See this?
Yes.
I'm in there right here. Because stop losses are taken out right here. We get a fake breakout here, and then we get that bullish momentum. That's what I need. When I see this retest candle and then I see bullish activity, I'm in on the next candle. And my stop loss is right where price went.
Understand.
And as you can see, it paid off. But you have to develop your own psychology and philosophy as you trade. Sometimes you're the only person that has to understand it. A lot of times I enter trades and people don't understand why I enter. Well, I understand why I enter. That's the important thing.
I understand. And the reason why I asked is because when I did take a class on imbalance, I started trading off of it, and it was like I became addicted. And I was like, all right, it's going to get back to that part. But sometimes it never does, but eventually it does. So like, and it makes sense now, like if I do see a market like spike all the way down, and I'm sure the retail traders might not understand, but understanding imbalance does teach me, okay, there was still imbalance like a few weeks ago, a few days ago, that still hasn't been captured. So
yeah, and it's not an exact science.
Yeah.
It is not, because we don't control the markets.
Right.
So we make our best guess and we stick with our gut. And that's where a lot of people mess up. They're trying to be exact. People say, well, what's the price you're going to enter? I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to enter. I just have to wait for certain things to happen. It's not about a price. It's about a location. It's about a zone.
Agreed. Thanks for that, man.
You're welcome. Right here, I would need price to break beyond this area for a breakout trade. And my take profits on the way down. All of these little doubles. Actually, I would be selling if it didn't break, but that's another discussion too. I like trading gold on the 4-hour and the daily. In my personal experience, the fibs are more accurate on those time frames for gold. Oh, that was perfect. Let's see. I've been using weeklies a lot too. Drop down. So you notice I found the target on the weekly and then I dropped down to the daily again. Right here. That's my buy zone. So if price does not break below this area here, I'll be looking to buy it back up to here. So this would be my sell zone. This whole area will be my sell zone. My target, I'm looking at these doubles. Yeah, you could take this one if you wanted to. It's 25, 30 pips. If it breaks out, you're looking at 120 pips. And of course, you can break that up into quarters. Look at that. If it rejects here, the next area, yep. If it rejects up here, the next zone is, let's bring it up right in here. See, this is one of those things where my analysis is totally different from the previous one. Because on the other ones, I'm giving you breakout. Here, I'm giving you rejection. But it's the same thing. So if it breaks here, then yes, I'll take it to this next zone. But if it rejects, I would be looking for it to come here and back down into these areas. So this one is kind of okay. Here we go. Come back down. So here's your buy zone. First target. Second target. Your sell zone, we'll put it beneath this. Not the prettiest, but I'm sticking to this. I'm sticking to that. This is a buy zone. Actually, all of this right here. I think this is going to continue to drop though. Look at that. I think it's going to continue to drop. Target. Target. We look at the weekly, we have a downtrend. I think we will continue that at least to here before it shoots up. AUD That's when I'll have to come back. I just have a gut feeling that this is going to continue down. Just like this one did. I think this is going to come back and hit target too. I'll come back to that one. Your JPY, I think, is going to continue up before it goes down. Yep. Yeah, I think it's going to continue up to catch some teacups. So here's your buy zone right here. 2. The sell zone is right here. Perfect. Shout out to Malik, chosen one, crushing that Chairman 10. Buy zone. Sell zone right there. Still like this one. Euro USD. Still like this one. I think it's gonna drop. I've been on this sale for months. I had a sale limit here. Look what price did. Came up, touched it, and dropped. Yeah, Malik is 20 years old. No such thing as too young, too old. How bad do you want it? I like that. Sales on this here. Buys on this here. So price will come up into these areas and then continue to drop. All right, Ripple. Actually, yeah. Target. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is right in the sweet spot. Right in this area. Let's see if it'll push down. Push down, be ready to buy it up. Buy zone. TP. Bitcoin breaks out of here. Look for it to come back into these areas. I'll come back to that one. Ethereum is entering its the stake phase. What that means is if you believe in Ethereum, you think it's a long term play, you're able to stake your assets for 6% annual yield. You just have to be willing to accept that they could go down, and or B, you won't have access to trading those assets for an extended period of time. So I will stake one of mine, probably, because I have them on 2 different accounts. We'll see what happens. Of course, the educators, I'm sure, will talk about that on some of their sessions. It's my sell zone right here. Reginald, what are you referring to?
So you mentioned something about ETH, Ethereum. You said stake. I was just trying to understand what that meant. Does that mean to sell it?
No. Stake means you're giving basically the company the right to use your Ethereum as they roll out Ethereum 2.0.
Okay, got it. Because I do have an investment in it, so I wasn't sure if that meant that it was going to crash or something.
Yeah, if you use Coinbase, of course you could Google it, but if you use Coinbase has some information on it.
Got it. I do have that. Thanks. I'll take a look at it.
All right.
Can you repeat what you said? You said you give the company the right to use your Ethereum for what?
For an extended period of time until they complete the rollout of 2.0.
Okay.
So, it's no guarantee. It's basically saying that you are okay with potentially losing all of your investment, but that's investing anyway. Doge, however you want to pronounce it. I just needed to get up to $1. Yeah. If it drops below about 46.5, look for it to go down into the high 30s, 40s, low 40s. I'm just going to leave that just like that. Just to look at it. Did I put the right one? Yeah. Now I'll add some targets. This is the area though. This is the sell zone. The buy zone. All right, there we go. All right, that's enough to look at, ponder on. Anybody have any questions before we vacate? This is going to be a good week for the indice traders. So if you want to get into the indices and you never have, this is the week to do it. If you've never traded them, I would recommend trading them on Forex. So it could be traded like Forex. As for some of you OGs, you already know.
I had a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Who were some of your best educators when you were getting into the whole mode of trading?
Say that again.
Who were some of the best educators that you looked to when you were getting like into the rhythm of trading?
Best is a dangerous term. The educators who resonated with me in the beginning were still, to this day, Manny Q. Learning the indice game, Kimberly Torres. For fundamentals, Abel Melendez, Evan Cabral, Manny Q. And then psychology, like the psychology of trading, John Dollery and the Steady Crew. Those guys are
nice.
Amazing.
Okay, it's all adding up. Okay. Thank you. I am on Manny Q and Abel Melendez. And then what's his name? Mello, he mentioned John Dollery. So that's great. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have a fantastic week. Please drop questions in the chat if you have them. These are just trade ideas. I am not in control with how the market moves. We've been pretty accurate consistently for the past 4 to 6 months. So let's see if we can continue that streak. Y'all have an amazing day.